One time I was working with a billionaire, literally a billionaire. And I said, what's your dream? What do you want to do? And he said, you know what? I want to go do the rookie training camp with the Chicago Cubs in Arizona. And I said, oh my gosh, let's do it. And he said, I can't. And I said, why? And he says, I can't afford it. I thought I'd talk real quick about no money and money. No money and money. So first, before we jump in there, where do you feel like you are? I mean, COVID's happened. There's people losing their jobs right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I've been there. I know what it's like to literally rub pennies together and how tough and challenging that can be. So where would you score yourself? Just on your own. You don't even have to comment in here, but just 1 to 10. 1, you don't have any money. You're just can't even pay for food. And 10, you feel like you're living in abundance and you've got lots of money coming in. Just score yourself right now. Where do you think you are? So here's some really key things with money when you think about it. First thing is really look at the facts of what's happening with money. Is it something in your head? Is it true? Because one time I was working with a billionaire, literally a billionaire. And I said, what's your dream? What do you want to do? And he said, you know what? I want to go do the rookie training camp with the Chicago Cubs in Arizona. And I said, oh my gosh, let's do it. And he said, I can't. And I said, why? And he says, I can't afford it. I said, what? What do you mean you can't afford it? This guy had lived through the Depression and he knows what it's like to wait in lines to get food. And he just lived in poverty even though he had the money. So just kind of put yourself in check, what's the reality versus what's there? That's the first thing. The second thing to do is really look at your needs versus your wants. If you're in a really tight space, and now I remember after what happened with the market change, right? When the mortgage industry crashed 10, 12 years ago, I remember walking into the house and thinking, OMG, we were meeting with bankruptcy attorneys. I mean, it was really a challenging time. And I looked across the street and it was my neighbor there, Art, and he was driving a really nice car. He had all these things done in his house that were really cool. And I said, I need to go talk to him. So modeling success, find people who have money and talk to them. How did they get it? What happened? And so I went and talked to Art and he was so amazing. He actually brought me, it was the first time I'd met him. I lived there 5 years and I'd never met Art before. So I just knocked on his door and he said, hey, what do you want? And I was like, I'm sorry. I think he thought I was a solicitor. I said, I'm your neighbor right across the street. I'm going through some tough stuff, man. I'd like to talk to you. Now, I knew a lot of people with money, but for some reason I felt called to talk to Art. And he invited me in and we spent an hour and a half, 2 hours in his backyard by his pool. And he said, look, you need to make a list. Every single thing you're spending, track it for 30 days and write it down. Is it a need? Is it a want? Is it a need? Is it a want? I remember going through that exercise and it was so powerful because I really started realizing, some of these things I thought were needs were really just wants. And then we put a budget in place. So there's lots of tips around that space, but it really starts with what are the facts, right? What are the facts? Is it something your thoughts and your feelings, or is it really happening? Then make your list, your needs, your wants for a week maybe. Everything you do, track everything. Put down your needs, put down your wants. And now I'm just curious, after spending a little bit of time together talking about no money, maybe you created a little bit of certainty or a plan or some hope when maybe you were hopeless. And that's where the beginning is. It's our mindset. If you start creating hope, you can start taking some actions, and that really makes a difference. So where are you now? 1 to 10. 1, hopeless, no money, no choices, don't know what to do next. 10, you're living in abundance. Maybe we created just a little opening, just a little bit that creates a little bit of shift so you can move towards that abundance. Because once you get a momentum moving in that direction, powerful things can happen. Love that we got to connect in this way from St. Zion to wherever you are. Be safe and be at peace.